ECG or EKG, and EKG is the German version of the word, so ECG and EKG are the same thing. It is an electrocardiogram. It measures the electrical impulse of the heart. And there's a couple of things that we can tell through the ECG. We can tell heartbeat because each one of these waves is going to represent a heartbeat. We can tell how well the atrium and the ventricles are contracting, and we can tell if there's any sort of misfiring. The ECG has the P wave, the QRS complex, and then the T wave. That is one cardiac cycle. The P is the depolarization of the atrium. The QRS complex is going to be the depolarization of the ventricle. And because the ventricle has a much stronger contraction, there's going to be a much bigger wave. And then the T wave is going to be the repolarization of that ventricle. Looking at this particular pattern of ECG, it is a normal sinus rhythm in the fact that we have in each cycle, there's approximately the same amount of squares that it takes up. The ventricles are contracting normally as the height of the QRS complex is the same throughout. The doctors also look at the height in comparison to the P and the T wave. They look at the space between the P and the QRS complex. And they also look at the space here between the QRS and the T wave to make sure that everything is happening in the amount of time it should. We can look here, we have the normal rhythm and rate on this top here. This second one is tachycardia, meaning you have a very fast heart rate, so the heart rate is going very fast. Here we have our PQRS, and then we have another premature heartbeat. Something went wrong there. Here we had two normal heartbeats, and then all of a sudden we have this kind of busy work. So this is the ventricle not able to kind of restart itself. And then looking at this one here, we have a P wave, and then we don't have a QRS complex, and we have another P wave, and then a QRS, and then another P wave, and another P wave with no, so we are missing a QRS complex every once in a while on that. And then this one here is a myocardial infarction. It's a heart attack. The QRS complex, it's not coming back down again, so you're not having that depolarizations of that ventricle is not happening properly. And one other condition I wanted to talk about is varicose veins. Varicose veins is when the valves in the veins aren't closing and blood begins to pool in those veins. And it causes the veins to get very large because blood is pooling in those veins and not being able to move up to the heart. And this is a semi-severe varicose vein in a leg. This is a very severe one in the arm. And that is